Hey everybody, welcome back. Hope you're enjoying the summit so far. So a couple of weeks ago, Profisee spent some time in Vienna, Austria, at the Microsoft Fabric Community Conference. And while we were there, Eric Melcher, Profisee CTO, had a chance to sit down with Dipti Borkar, VP and General Manager of Microsoft Fabric ISVs, to talk about some of the incredible things going on with Microsoft Fabric. If you haven't heard, Microsoft Fabric is growing very, very quickly to the point of over 25,000 customers in a very short amount of time. And Microsoft is very focused on building a partner ecosystem that enhances the value that Microsoft Fabric brings to their customers. Some of the ways they are doing this is by allowing strategic partners to build workloads natively within Fabric that help support and augment the end-to-end data management journey right there inside of Fabric. And Profisee has been a pioneer of market firsts with Microsoft for many, many years. And recently, we've had the privilege to be the first MDM vendor to launch a native workload directly in Fabric. You get in there and you do your data management just like you would never leave the Fabric interface. And so in this upcoming session, Dipti and Eric discuss the importance of master data management within Fabric, and we'll get to see a demo of how it all works: survivorship, configuration, administration, and more. We hope you enjoy the session.
All right, hello everybody. We're coming to you live from Vienna. My name is Eric Melcher. I'm here joined with Dipti Borkar. Dipti, maybe you can share with everybody a little about your role at Microsoft.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Dipti Borkar, VP and GM for Microsoft OneLake, as well as the strategic Fabric partnerships in the ecosystem. Great to be here.
All right, thank you. So we're here in Vienna. I think we've all had a great time at the Fabric conference so far. So maybe we can start with you sharing a little bit about the vision that Microsoft has for Fabric.
Yeah, absolutely. We're in the AI era, and one of the aspects that customers continuously ask about is, how do I unify this experience? How can I have AI with whether it's agentic, whether it's models across the entire data estate? And that's where Fabric comes in. Fabric is a unified data platform for data and AI analytics, operational databases, the entire suite. And really, we are simplifying it for our customers so that they have a range of capabilities for this AI era, for these Gen AI workloads, right out of a single product. All of this powered by Microsoft OneLake, which not only allows you to get insights into your data on Azure, but other clouds as well. Yes, multi-cloud. I'm actually using that word, Eric.
Yeah.
We're very excited about this, and OneLake is essentially that foundation. But we didn't stop there. We moved forward with open formats, so our customers, our joint customers, are not locked in. And we've further opened the platform as well so that our ecosystem partners like Profisee can come in and build natively within it.
Yeah, and we've been working together now for a couple of years on our own workload within Fabric. So maybe you can share with everybody a little about the vision for workloads in Fabric and ISV partners like Profisee and how we're bringing our MDM capabilities natively into Fabric.
Yeah, great question. While Microsoft is large company, large teams, we cannot do it all. And there are so many capabilities of data management that are required on top of your data, on top of your raw data, as you're collecting it across different data sources. And that's where our partners come in. And that's where the workload development kit, which is what Profisee workload is built on, comes in. It enables our partners to build in these experiences natively within Fabric. And so for an end user, for a creator, a developer, it's one seamless experience. And with that, we have MDM, which is now integrated into Fabric with the Profisee workload.
Yeah, and so obviously our goal with master data management is help build that trusted data foundation, help our customers bring together their data around customers, products, assets, financial hierarchies, et cetera. But why is building that trusted foundation of data critical inside of Microsoft Fabric?
Yeah, so this goes down to your garbage in, garbage out. We talked about this here the keynote. But at the end of the day, your insights, your agents, your models are going to only be as good as your data, and that's where the transformation of raw data comes in. You might be collecting data from a range of different places. It might be S3, GCS, it might be ADLS. Also on-prem, increasingly there's transformation for where customers are migrating from on-prem to the cloud. And all of this goes into, oftentimes a traditional medallion architecture. You have your raw data, but at the end of the day, it needs to be transformed. We need to add more meaning to it. We need to clean it. We need to transform it, wrangle it, etc., and get it into a better shape so that the insights that at the end of the day, whether it's a data analyst or an executive, get on top of it are accurate, and give that entire perspective. And that's where the entire sort of pipeline of data management comes in. And with Profisee MDM, Master Data Management, it covers many different aspects of this, data quality and more.
All right, thank you. So with that great background from Dipti, we're gonna go ahead and roll into the demo.
In this demo, we're going to start off here in Microsoft Fabric. Here I am inside of a workspace where I am implementing my medallion architecture. And to start off with, I've brought some data into the bronze layer of my medallion architecture, and I've built out an initial customer sales analysis report on top of that bronze data. And here we are looking at our sales report, and we can see a lot of the common data quality issues that we encounter when trying to do analytics on top of raw data. On the left here, we see that we have a number of obvious duplicate records. So if we sort this data by sales, it'll be very clear that we're not able to truly understand who our top customers are. On the right-hand side, we have aggregated our sales by various facets, sales by industry, sales by state, sales by region. And in all three cases, we have a number of source records that are coming in with missing values for industry, state, or region. And in the case of states, we have states that are both spelled out in their full names as well as in their 2-character abbreviations. So as usual, our first finding when trying to do analytics on raw data is not some new business insight, but visibility into the poor quality of our underlying master data. Now, if our goal is to use AI to help better understand our data, we can see that AI is not able to overcome these issues, and it is not in itself a cure-all for poor quality data. So if we go here and I ask Copilot inside of Power BI who my top customers are, and so there we have it. You can see here that AI has come back and responded with the top 5 customers, but we know, just looking at the data, that is not the right answer. So what we need is the type of information that we can get when we've managed our master data through a master data management platform like Profisee. With Profisee, we've been able to deduplicate records and forming golden records, allowing us to group together like records and have a better sense of who our top customers truly are based off of all of the sales to that organization. We've been able to crowdsource data from across our systems, filling in a lot of those blank values. Now we see we have far fewer blank industry codes, we have far fewer blank regions. All of our states have been cleaned up through the use of third-party data verification services. And now we have a data set that we can use to actually find business insights versus just seeing how poor quality our data is itself. Now that we've seen what a before and after picture of the MDM looks like and how AI is not able to itself overcome these challenges, I'd like to start to walk you through our Fabric workload to help you understand how we're bringing our MDM capabilities natively into Microsoft Fabric. Here we are navigated back to our workspace. And if you go over to the Workloads tab of Microsoft Fabric, you'll see that there are a number of different third-party ISV workloads available here natively inside of Fabric, including Profisee MDM. With the Profisee MDM workload enabled, when we go back to our workspace and add a new item, you see here that a Profisee data product item is available to create. And this will create a new item inside your workspace alongside all the other first-party items inside of Microsoft Fabric. I'm going to give my item a name. And now we're ready to connect our item to an underlying Profisee environment. Now that we've connected, we can either create a new data product inside of Profisee or select an existing one. A data product represents a container of like artifacts that ultimately provides some set of collective data for the organization. In this case, we're going to go ahead and connect to our existing Golden Customer data product. Now that we've connected, we can open up and look at our list of available entities inside of our data product and see actual master data records under management inside of Profisee. There's a few things that we can do here. First, we can open up any record and edit the basic properties of that record. So in this case, I can open up travel systems. If I need to update its address or its phone number, etc., I can make all those changes here. I can also see a history of any changes here. So you can see any changes that are made by an end user or by an internal system process, all audited within the Profisee system. We also have the ability to fix data quality issues. Here you can see that the industry value is required, and so we see that record is highlighted with a data quality issue. If I open it up, I can see that individual attribute is missing, and that's something that I can go ahead and correct here within Profisee. Lastly, we have the ability to work with the results of Profisee's matching or entity resolution engine. In this case, I can open up a group of records that have been formed into a group by Profisee and look at all the various source records underneath it, along with the golden record, including the ability to manage the data on the golden record, making sure that I have the best available information for analytics. So with our data product created for Profisee, let's go ahead and see what the user experience is for a data steward that is responsible for both consuming data inside of Microsoft Fabric, as well as has the ability to manage master data within Profisee's data product in Fabric as well. Now, as a user of Power BI, if I'm looking at my data and I see some quality issues in my data, the goal here is to allow me to then be able to address and fix those issues in the data using the knowledge I have of my business. So think of this as harvesting the knowledge of your business users and providing a way for that knowledge to get brought back into your enterprise data that then benefits not just that individual, but the rest of the enterprise. So let's see how that could work in this scenario. I still have a number of customer records that have blank for industries. So in this case, I was not able to crowdsource an industry code for some of my golden records from my various source systems. In this case, we see here that the largest customer we have that's missing their industry code is Sharp Security. Additionally, when I drill into Sharp Security, I see that all of their sales are in the state of Kentucky, but they're categorized as being in the Northeast region, which is incorrect. So now, what can I do about this? Well, since I now have a Profisee master data product item, I can go back over to my Profisee item and search for my collection of records around Sharp Security. Here I can see the various source records that I have for Sharp Security, along with the golden record that I've created. We see here that our golden record has a data quality issue, and I can open up that record, and in this case, I see that the industry is required, and that's my data quality issue. And I can simply specify the correct industry code for Sharp Security and save that change, and that change will now be published back into my OneLake and show up inside of my Power BI report. Now, if we open up the group of records around Sharp Security and scroll down, we can see why our region is specified as Northeast. Many of our source records are incorrectly specified as Northeast for our sales region, but we know in this case that the correct answer is South. So we can override the automated survivorship with a manual survivorship update, changing the sales region from Northeast to South. And again, this change will now be published and reflected back inside of my Power BI report. Flipping back to Power BI, I can now refresh my data. We see that our sales for the blank industry has gone down. Our security industry is now one of our top 4 industries. If I filter on the security industry, I see that Sharp Security is now correctly classified underneath that industry. And also, if I filter on Sharp Security, we now see that Sharp Security sales have been moved from the Northeast back to the South, making our sales data by region more accurate. So hopefully this gives you a sense of how, from a data stewardship perspective, now your business users that consume data inside of Microsoft Fabric also can leverage the power of Profisee to capture the knowledge in their heads about the business and to help make the data better natively inside of Fabric, improving the quality of your data for the whole enterprise and all of your users. Now what we'd like to do is walk you through our broader vision for bringing the Profisee capabilities into Microsoft Fabric. While Microsoft Fabric has a number of robust first-party workloads and services, Fabric itself does not have a master data management solution or a lot of the common master data management capabilities like we just saw with matching and data quality. And so the vision with Profisee's Fabric workload is to enable users to take all the capabilities of Profisee and use them natively inside of Fabric to implement their medallion architecture, using Profisee to take their bronze master data and convert it into gold master data. If we look at that user journey, we want to start with our raw or bronze data, and we want to get it to gold or consumable data. And to get there, we need to be able to, as we saw, create our data product item inside of Fabric. We need to then be able to configure our models to define our entities and our columns or attributes. We then need to be able to load some raw data into that from our bronze area of our OneLake. We then need to be able to configure our data quality rules. We need to be able to configure our matching process. We need to be able to have users then steward the data. They need to be able to take their knowledge to fix data quality issues or manage the golden records themselves. And then we need to be able to take that better data and publish it back up to our gold layer of our medallion architecture. And so our vision with our workload is to allow an organization, a data engineer, to be able to use the entirety of the Profisee platform to go on this complete user journey. So where we are on that journey as far as delivering this vision, in March of 2025, we went GA with our workload, which included the ability to create that initial data product, to be able to configure your entities and attributes. We also had the ability to steward data and fix data quality issues within the Profisee Fabric workload. We also included in that the ability for you to do a free trial, which allows you to basically open up, create your own data product item without having to license Profisee. That item is connected to a read-only Profisee environment, allowing you to get a sense of what it would be like to manage master data using the Profisee workload natively inside of Fabric. In June of 2025, we added the ability to manage golden records, so now we can open up a group of like records, we can see the golden record, we can see its source records underneath it, and we can manage the values on that golden record within the Fabric workload. What we just recently delivered the last few weeks is the ability to do integration, so we can now load data into Profisee from OneLake. We can also publish data back out to OneLake, and we can also configure our data quality rules. The last piece of the puzzle that we're working on now is the ability to configure that matching process, to be able to select the attributes that are identifying and use those to identify and group together like records and create that golden record. And then the last thing that we're going to be delivering is the ability for any organization in the world to take out a free trial with their own data. So an organization that is not a current Profisee customer will be able to go into Fabric, turn on the Profisee workload, create their first data product item, and when they click the free trial button, we will spin up a live Profisee environment that allows that organization to load a subset of their data to understand how Profisee can help solve their data problems and provide value back inside of their Fabric environment. So with that overview, what I'd like to walk you through is what does it look like to create your data product from scratch, leveraging all the capabilities that we've delivered thus far. Here we are back inside of Microsoft Fabric. We're going to go back to the same data product item that I created previously. And what we're going to do is actually show the process of actually starting to model your data. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new entity. And let's say, for example, we wanted to go ahead and bring some product data under manage it within this broader Profisee data product. I'm going to create a new entity. And this is like a table of data called products. So now I've created my raw table, and we see here that we have the ability to specify just a basic name and code. And now we can start modeling out the other attributes that define a product. The first one we'll create here is called description. And the second one is called subcategory. Now subcategory we're going to make domain-based, which means it has to be selected from a given list. So now that we've created our entity and added a couple of attributes, we could go ahead and add a new record. But before we do that, we're going to now go on to defining our data quality rules. If we click over here to the quality area, we can see a couple of the rules that we've seen already in our demo. In this case, we want to add some rules around our product data. The first one we want to do is we want to specify that the subcategory attribute is required, and that is a validation rule. So we're going to go ahead and here add a rule on that attribute subcategory. We're going to add a validation clause saying that the subcategory itself cannot be null. We'll go ahead and give it a friendly description. And we'll save that rule. So that's an example of a validation rule, which is what we can use to identify incorrect or missing values. The other type of rule we can add is assignment rule, which effectively acts as a calculation. Here we're going to go ahead and use an assignment rule to dynamically calculate an expression for our description field. So now we'll specify that our description equals our name, along with our subcategory name. So now that we've created those two rules, we could actually go back and add a new record to our entity and see those rules in action. Going back to my product entity, we go ahead and add a new record. I can specify a subcategory. And if I click save, we'll see that our description is automatically populated. And alternatively, if I add a new record, where I don't specify a subcategory, we'll see that that value is flagged as an error. That allows me to know that I need to fix that. So now we've seen how to model data, we've seen how to define data quality rules. Now how can we bring data into this individual entity? That's where integration strategies come into play. So now what we want to do is we want to bring in a set of raw or bronze data from our OneLake system and load that product data into our new entity. I'm going to give my strategy a name. I'm going to pick the entity that I want to load. I'm going to pick the table of data that I want to import from. And then lastly, I need to specify a mapping. So in this case, I want to map the name to name, code to code, and map my subcategory. And I can now save this. Now I'm now ready to run this and load my data. I click run. I get a little piece of toast telling me that the execution has begun. I can see inside of the Fabric monitor that this process has not started. And if we wait a few moments, this will complete. We'll actually have successfully loaded our product data into our entity. So navigating over to our product entity, we can now see the initial two sample records that we specified, along with all the data that we just imported. We see here that the name, the code, and the subcategory were all populated. Records that were missing a subcategory are flagged with the data quality issue. We see that our calculation to populate the description has been executed as a part of the import for all of our description fields. So what's going on behind the scenes is what our workload is doing is it's acting like an alternative front end of the Profisee platform. So if we go over here to the actual underlying Profisee environment that we've been connected to this whole time, and we go to the admin area, if we open up our model, we'll see the entity that we created inside of Microsoft Fabric, along with its corresponding attributes. If we go look at our data quality rules, we can see those two data quality rules we added within Fabric. If we go over to our connect strategies, we can see here that we have the strategy here that we use to load products from OneLake into our Profisee entity. If we look at this from a data stewardship perspective, we can open up that same products entity. We can see here those same two sample products as well as all the data that we loaded. Now, if I open up one of these records and make a change, so it changes code from 1 to 3, I can save that change, flip over to Fabric, refresh my view, and see that same change reflected here. And I can see the history of that change, regardless of where that change was made. As I mentioned, what's coming next is the ability to configure the matching process itself. So that's the ability to configure how records are identified, what the various combinations of attributes that you'd like to match records on, and then how those golden records are ultimately populated. allowing you to now configure all of your data end to end, importing it, improving data quality, deduplicating data, and then using integration strategies to push that data back to your One Lake Gold Medallion architecture. At Profisee, we're super excited for our Fabric workload and the journey that we've been on with the Fabric team, and the opportunity to bring Profisee's industry-leading master data management capabilities into Microsoft Fabric and allow us to create better data for both analytics as well as better data for AI.
All right, so there you have it, everybody. That's our demo of our workload. Hopefully that gives you an idea of the vision we have and where we are on our journey. Dipti, any final thoughts coming out of the demo?
Yeah, I mean, for those of you here, you see how seamless it is to move in and out of Fabric and Profisee back to Fabric. It actually looks like, one unified experience, right? One unified cloth across, pun intended, across both these experiences. And if you haven't tried it out, give it a try. Get hands-on. It's easy to use. Fabric comes with a free trial, and try out the Profisee workload. There's many other workloads and experiences. So super excited about our collaboration and really making sure our joint customers at the end of the day have well-managed, clean data.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Dipti. It's been great seeing you here in Vienna.
Thank you, Eric.
And thank you, everyone, for joining.
Thanks. Bye-bye.